so it's gone from one thing to another, that leads to another, and the art thing came in because very early in my life, I had these four cousins, and we were always a group. We were bright kids, all went to Catholic school, liberal arts, Catholic education. I don't know if you have done, but it's like a liberal arts education with corporal punishment.
I was about to say liberal and Catholic? Wait.
Pardon?
I was about to say liberal and Catholic. Hold
Liberal
on.
and Catholic. Well, sometimes they are, sometimes they are, And so we bonded together, and the oldest cousin, Louis, he was a genius kid, and he assigned all the cousins topics to go learn about and bring back to the group. Okay, Ray Jane, you go look about architecture, and Lolly, learn about the Middle Ages, and Cheech, learn about art. And so how do you do that? I don't know. So I went to the library and I started looking at all the art books, and every Saturday I would go in there and so I went a couple times, and the head librarian saw me come in, and the third time I came in, and he said, what are you doing? So trying to learn about art. I said, okay, we can help you with that. And every time I came in, they had a pile of books, of art books. Okay, today you're going to show about the Impressionists. And I was 9 years old at the time. And so the librarian said, but if you really want to learn about art, you have to go to museums and see paintings in person, because that's how you experience paintings in person. And so, okay. And so when you see those kids go to a museum with all the same colored t-shirt, holding hands, that was me. And so I kept it up, and it was really kind of interesting to me, because raised Catholic too, there's a lot of art, and that was art until the 16th century, and I was like, it was always drew me, because I'd look up on the ceiling in my church, and there's these guys in sheets walking around the clouds, and why are they barbecuing that guy in the corner? So right away I'm interested, because I grew up on Mexican comic books, and so that's how it was. I got interested in art, and just kept on, and it was intriguing to me. And so when I got to the point where I have enough money to start collecting art, that's when I discovered these Chicano painters. And okay, I can afford these guys. And women as guys in general, and I said, well, I'm going to start collecting art, because I knew a lot about it, I couldn't buy a Raphael or a Michelangelo or all those guys, but I could afford Chicano painters. And once you found one Chicano painter, all of a sudden you knew 20, because the word spread. People said, guys buying our art, let's go, And so that's how it was. And so it just kept progressing, and I put together this collection, and we started touring it, around the country, and it became very popular. And it was, and so now I'm on the board of the directors of LACMA in LA, which is just opening its new wing. If you're in LA, go see LACMA, the Los Angeles County Museum of Art, the new Geffen Gallery.
I was about to say, I hope I get to work with you someday. Then.
You may, it's because, go see that. It's the future of museums. And I'm lucky enough to be friends with Michael Govan, the director, and he asked me to be on the board. And then out of the blue came this offer to put the collection in a museum, which is every collector's dream. Every collector that I know that has put together a big collection, they get to the end of it and they go, well, what am I going to do with all this? I can't keep it under the bed or in the closet anymore, it's too big. And so they're all looking for a place to put it. This offer came out of the blue from the city of Riverside. I'm in the business of the city. They came to me and had this building they were going to either tear down or do something with. And it was their town library, beautiful mid-century building. And they said, we'd like to offer you the building for the collection. And that is like a fever dream of every collector, that your collection gets to stay together, and it's the only thing in the museum, is just the collection. But the thing was, I had to give them the collection, not loan it to them, or no, it's now your property, and you get to do with it what you think is best. And it took me 50 years to put together this collection, so I was like, do I want to do
I
this?
don't want to let it go.
Yeah, I was really struggling to make that decision. And I was walking through the museum one day. It was a library, it was a town library, and they were clearing out the books. And I asked the curator, I says, it's a big museum, and I was looking for a sign, because I'm a big believer in signs. And I said, how big is this museum? And she says, well, it's 66,420 square feet. I said, 420? That's the sign.